Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Sales Manager Academy podcast. As always, I'm your host Omar, and we talk about leadership in the boutique retail world, right? Think about appliances, think about AV, think about furniture, think about wireless retail, everything outside of your big box retail. And today I want to talk about something I've hit on in the past, which is leading from the spreadsheet versus leading from the field. Okay. A lot of people reached out about that. And here's the thing. You have to understand your numbers, but more importantly, you have to understand what's actually going on in the field. As a regional director and above, you normally can only see the numbers. That's why it's so important for you to get out in the field. As an area, district, or multi unit leader, if you're not hitting the field and understanding what's going on at your locations, what the traffic is actually happening, what level of experience your teams actually have. Okay. Especially if you hired a bunch of new hires and you expect them to be able to hit the same metrics at the same velocity and same intensity as your 5-year tenured employees. Okay. You have to understand those differences. So when you're looking at the spreadsheets and you're like, okay, this doesn't make sense. They're not closing at the right, clip that they need to be closing. Are they not closing or are they understaffed? Are they not closing or are they undertrained? Okay. You have to be able to step in and see what's going on. That's why it's so important. Okay. If what you're doing is looking at just the spreadsheets and you're like, okay, this location isn't closing, I just need to send them a message. You need to do more. You need to sell more. Okay, that doesn't do anything. What are they missing? How can you, as a leader, step in and assist that local leader, assist that location to be able to hit what they need to attain? Obviously, your sales managers and your salespeople aren't there for the hourly. Okay. They're there to be able to make more than their hourly rate. So, what are you doing as a leader to be able to help them elevate their performance? What are they missing? If it's a location with a bunch of new hires, what are they missing that can change? What's that small pivot, okay, that can change so that we can become better at what we're doing? If it's a location that doesn't get much traffic and their metrics are low when they're usually high, one of the big red flags there is that maybe they're getting inundated by too many customers at once when they're understaffed. So they're not able to close as much because maybe the customers in the area, right? They see there's 5, 6, 7 people or additional customer groups waiting to be assisted. So they're trying to rush through, like, well, I'll come back another day or whatever. Or that seller maybe isn't experienced enough. So they're just trying to rush through that customer to get to the next one. Okay. Maybe they're not trying to turn a simple question into an actual opportunity by asking the right questions because they don't know how. They're inexperienced, so they don't know what they don't know. They think that, well, the customer didn't come in asking for it, so I can't sell them anything. Or they came in with a particular issue and, I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to go to the next individual waiting in line and let them know, like, okay, I can't really do much for you here. Those are the things that the spreadsheet won't tell you. The spreadsheet, which you need to understand about those DSRs, those daily sales rankings and numbers that come out, the daily sales reports, is that is going to point you in the direction of what you need to focus on. So, for instance, close rates are high, but they're not hitting the actual metrics. Look at the traffic. Is traffic low? All right, what can we do? Are they understaffed where they can't get out of those four walls? What can we do to help us get more from them? Okay. From those opportunities. What can we do to help them be able to actually do more? You're not going to solve it by just showing up and saying, well, I'm going to sell with you. As a leader at that capacity, you're underutilizing what you're supposed to do, and you're actually undercutting your sales teams because you're telling them that doesn't matter what level of training you get, you can't do this. So now they will continue to underperform. And it's worse when the location underperforms because you went there to help them sell without understanding what's going on at the location. That's why it's so important for you guys to actually spend time understanding that traffic flow and understanding what kind of DEMs you have going into those locations. That's super important. That's something that the reporting will never tell you. It'll only tell you the numbers. It will not tell you the full story. So if you think you can tell what's going on at a location without actually visiting it, no. It will guide you because it's going to be one of few things, right? They're undertrained. They don't have enough training and development to actually be able to do what they need to do. That's a coaching issue. That's a leader issue that falls on you to correct. Maybe they're understaffed. Guess who that falls under? Once again, yes, you can empower your local leaders to do the interviewing and the hiring. The realistic thing about this, guys, is that at the district level, it's going to fall on you to really facilitate it. Especially if you're either a smaller organization or you're a smaller retailer, your best usage so that your team can focus on what they can do best is to help facilitate the recruiting, the hiring, the interviewing portion of things, right? So are they understaffed? Are they undertrained? What are we missing? So once again, those numbers will point you in a direction, but you still need to investigate. You still need to step into those locations to truly understand what is going on. What am I hearing during those interactions? If you're just stepping in and your focus is just, I'm gonna put my head down, I'm gonna be fucking ostrich, and nothing else is important. I just need to sell, sell, sell. You're not doing anybody any justice. You're wasting everybody's fucking time. If you're an owner operator and that's the type of leadership that you have, you might think they're doing well for you, but they're setting you back 10 fucking paces. Okay? Because they're not pushing anything forward. And that leader might think they're doing well, but the reality is that that leader is afraid of those locations performing well without them because then in their mindset, they feel that they can easily be replaced because they're performing without me. When in reality, a true leader is looking at this and saying, my locations are performing amazingly because I'm assisting them. I am giving them the room that they need to be able to do what they do best while I handle the other aspects of the operations and business that they don't need to really worry about. That is what you need to do as a multi unit leader. That's where you have to shift your focus. If you're worried about hours, for instance, right? Are my teams going over on hours? Are they utilizing the hours properly? The first two fucking things you should be doing every single goddamn morning. Check the sales reports. That should be the first goddamn thing you do. Second thing, every single HR platform that you guys use has the ability to pull reporting for hours. Pull the fucking reporting and be proactive about the hours. Don't be reactive. Reactivity will shoot you in the fucking foot because now you're going to have upset employees who say, fuck this shit. And either aren't going to perform because they got a foot out the door, right? Or just going to drag it along. And that's what you need to ensure you don't make that environment occur. When you have happy employees are far more productive. And they have the ability to be able to bring more influence into the organization by offering suggestions that actually might work. Because guess what? We are so focused on other aspects, we may not see things as a multi unit leader, as a district, as an area, even a regional. We may not see things clearly sometimes because we're looking at things at a macro level, at a higher level, where we can't see the small nuances that they see every single day. So maybe a suggestion that they offer from the field is going to be an aha moment that might elevate something by 5, 10, 15 plus percent attainment. I don't think you guys realize how big of an improvement just a 5% increase in attainment on a metric is, let alone anything higher. So, as a leader, you want to be facilitating that kind of thought. You want your team to be vocal about, hey, maybe some of these things might work. Have them try it out. And if we start seeing greater progress at that location from it, boom, let's see if we can implement it somewhere else. Those are the things that are super important that you need to understand. Okay. But as an area, district, any level that at that position or any position at that level, you need to understand to understand the reporting and know that this stuff doesn't tell me the true picture. Because when your higher ups are coming at you and they're like, hey, what's going on in this location? I'm looking at the numbers and they're down year over year. Cool. At least you can be vocal and say, hey, they're understaffed. We just lost somebody, um, or we moved somebody to a different area, right? Remember, hey, this is the one that we took so and so to become, another cell over here to help out with this location or whatever the case is. Okay. So obviously they're down. We're not running with experienced employees because they're one of the most experienced employees at the location. So I'm going to step in to help coach them. I'm going to give them, something to work on. I'm going to talk to the manager there to ensure that we can get them trained up because we need to be able to elevate this close rate. It's not, I'm going to step in, I'm just going to make sure that they close. You are one individual. If you have 4, 6, 10, 15, 20 plus locations, you cannot physically be at all of them closing. You physically cannot be at every single one of those locations increasing performance. Remember, guys, what I've told you. You as an individual are better off helping others get to that 50, 60% level of your performance because there's more of them than there are of you. And over time, they will become better and be able to surpass or at least perform at the same level that you've been able to perform at. That is super critical for you to understand. Once they get there as well, that means that they have longevity. Because, guys, as a leader at that level, you need to be training your people up. More importantly, you need to be retaining your people. I get it. Most of you guys have fucking atrocious retention rates. We're talking about 10, 20, 30% at the top at the 12-month mark. That is horrendous by every single means possible. There's absolutely no reason that there are companies like Walgreens or McDonald's or Walmart's or other retailers like that that don't offer commission basis but have honestly better retention rates at some areas. Those are the things that you need to be looking at, okay? Because when you can retain your employees for more than a year, guess what happens? All that experience compounds. It makes your life as a leader so much fucking easier because you're not having to train people on the most goddamn basic things of what you do. They understand it. You can actually go on vacation, take a fucking week off, and disconnect, and come back and not have to worry about a fucking fire. All right? Things didn't burn down to the ground. Those are the things that you, as a leader, need to really be focusing on. So get to the point where you can do that. Don't be a fucking desk jockey. You're in a sales position. You need to be visiting those locations to get a better understanding of what's going on. And more importantly, too, your people need to see FaceTime. They need to see you in the field. They need to see that, hey, my leader also can do this and they can help me if I needed to. They shouldn't be afraid to reach out to you. If there's a company function, they shouldn't be afraid to approach you. You need to be that individual that can help elevate them, that your team knows they will support me so that you can hit what you need to hit. But you also need to understand how to be able to read those reports and lead from the fucking field, not from the fucking reporting. Because when you step in and you're like, okay, this is what it is. No. You need to step in and say, hey, you guys are doing amazing. I see your guys' close rates. You guys are closing. I've had a location that they never thought would do us, right? 700 plus opportunities, sells, right? Every single month consistently when before they were doing 250 to 350. So stuff like that. Hey, you guys are doing great. You're closing at a 17, 19% close rate. We're doing amazing. Keep it up. What do you guys need from me? Right? Hey, I say we dipped a little bit on these metrics. It's okay, boss. Boom, I got this is what we're doing. Once you give your teams those that room to breathe, they'll be able to reach out to you. And if you have a question about something, they'll be able to respond because you've helped them also understand the reporting. They also understand what to look for so that they know where they need to put focus on. Because if you got a store that's closing at 10, 15, 20%, where the base is 7, 10%, right? The fuck are you doing telling them that, hey, you got to sell more? No. That's where you need to understand, okay, what can I offer this team? Maybe the metrics are low, cool, but they're closing at a higher clip rate. So maybe what's going on, right? Let's take a look because I need to understand what's going on with the customer base here. That's very, very important. Not a lot of leaders do that. And that's why you see, especially in a lot of smaller retailers, in a lot of those spaces, such a fucking churn rate at the leadership level. There should be absolutely no reason why you're turning over multiple leaders in a given area in less than 12 months. Okay? You should be able to retain your leaders for a longer period of time, especially your fucking leaders at those locations. Worse when it's your employees. Okay? When you're ramping up, I get it. You're going to still be stuck there. But once you can get to a 60, 70, 80% retention rate at the year mark, at the 12-month mark, you would be surprised at how well your locations will do, how well operations will be. And better yet, what opportunities will be available. Because now you have people that actually know what they're doing. You have leaders that aren't stressed out. You yourself aren't stressed out working 60, 80 hours a week, 6, 7 days a week. You can actually spend time with family. You can actually do your hobbies. You can actually take time to do things outside of work. Okay? Because work is not life, it's a means to an end. And when you understand that, and when your employees understand that you see them as individuals and you're going to do everything possible to help them become successful, they will run through a fucking brick wall for you. And that's the type of leader you want to be, where your teams understand that it is your job to help serve them to become better at what they're doing. Doesn't mean that you're going to be their best friend. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be annoying. But they understand that you're coming from a point of assisting them to become better for themselves. And in turn, that's going to help them become better within the organization. And selfishly, I want them to succeed because at the end of the day, that means I succeed. Because my compensation is directly tied to their level of performance. So, guys, get out there. Don't lead from the fucking spreadsheets. Let it point you on where we need to focus on and get in the fucking field and lead from the field. Help your team see that you understand where they're coming from and you understand that, hey, this is actually what we need to focus on instead of, well, we just got to sell more. Be specific and you'll see a bigger improvement in performance. All right, guys, don't forget, hit that like and follow button, subscribe, catch more of this, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.